in, trying to get myself together over here using my camera as a little bit of a mirror. Got some hairs going crazy. I took out those twists I was telling you guys yesterday. So my hair is back to its regular year-round poofiness, hair struggles. Anyway, welcome back. We are here to talk about our favorite show, Seeking Sister Wife. And this is going to be brought to you from an urban perspective, a native perspective, a mixed perspective, a secular perspective, which, some of these things do tie in with this particular show. It is hot as blazes here in the Pacific Northwest. Usually it's very hot. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, guys. Let me put on my microphone here because I know you probably will have a hard time hearing me otherwise. Sorry about that. I forget about my logistics at times. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, probably weren't able to hear me. Okay, there we go. Halito, everybody. Welcome back. This is CT over the NYC Indian, and today we're going to be talking about Seeking Sister Wives. This is going to be brought to you from an urban perspective, a mixed perspective, and a secular perspective. So, did you guys catch that nonsense last night? Okay, episode 8, right? Oh my God. So what is this? All right, we start off with Brenda. So Brenda and Steve are, I don't know, saying goodbye to the kids and expecting like the kids to have like some change of heart or something. Listen, mainly it's the daughter because the son is kind of like, I guess he's like, just like, whatever, it's my dad. I love him regardless of whatever. But no, not that little girl. That little girl is like, no, 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 no. I'm almost, she is technically a young lady, right? So she's just old enough to know what's going on and to know that she's uncomfortable with it. And she's not having it, basically. So later on, Brenda has dinner. I'm going to speed through Brenda and Steve because to me, they are just like cornflakes. Very, very boring. So later on, Brenda and, Brenda and April, I was going to say Brenda and Steve. Brenda and April have like some kind of lunch together. And April is trying to figure out like, what is it that you want from me? That's her name, right? Let me double check. Yes, April. She's like, what do you like, you want friendship from me, but like, it's going to take time and stuff like that. That girl does not want to have anything to do with Brenda. In fact, she would be so happy if Brenda just got in a car one day and never came back, right? She just wants Steve for herself. And, technically so does Brenda, but she's trying to, do this like, but as long as she's my best friend, I'll be okay with it. Maybe that's what she's convinced herself. As long as I know who he's cheating with me on, or cheating on me with, I should say, then, maybe it's just less of a blow. I'm not really sure because she's clearly not happy. Just not built for that kind of life, right? And so, when they ask her, like, April, like the producers, like, do you think you could come to love her? And she's like, well, it's kind of hard to say, but like maybe eventually, because she doesn't want to be there. She's too young. She should not be in this situation, especially on national television. So anyway, I'm done with these two. All right, let's go on to the Merrifields. Woof. All right, so they call Bert, and finally she picks up the phone. And she's talking about something about she'll send them the email from immigration once she gets it. And they're like, the email? Hold on, you mean like the confirmation for the interview? She's like, no, like the beginning email. And it's like, well, what have you been doing this whole time? Have you not been in the paperwork process? Like, does Bert just have a man down there in Brazil? Let's be for real. She looks good, right? Bert takes care of that body. Bert takes care of her hair. She takes care of her skin. She looks good. So why would she be saving herself for somebody, an entire continent and, a Gulf away when she could just easily get somebody there in Brazil? But, again, maybe it's about the green card and stuff like that. So later on, Garrick and Danielle have dinner with Danielle's brother and sister-in-law, who are, you can tell they're not down with this either, but they all, I guess Danielle just kind of comes from that type of family where they don't really like strongly express their views. They just kind of like, well, I mean, how's that gonna work? And I just want you to be happy, but that kind of thing, instead of being like, snap out of it. Remember? Oh my God, that was my favorite scene from Moonstruck. For any of you who are old enough to remember Cher and Moonstruck back in the 80s, that was just like an iconic scene when she smacked the hell out of was it Nicolas Cage? Was that who the co-star was? But anyway, Nicolas Cage, I think, when he was acting stupid, snap out of it, right? And I don't know, her family's just very passive. I guess that's just little lip gloss malfunction there. I guess that's just a function of their family. I guess that's just how they roll. They're not very like, what the hell is the matter with you kind of thing. What is this? Oh, thank you. Hey, Sama, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. Did you watch that nonsense, Sama? Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going through the Merrifields right now. So, and yeah, Sama, I think I remember your name from back before, right? I think you subscribed a while back, if I'm not mistaken, but thank you for tuning in anyway. So yes, all right. These people, it's like hard to like kind of balance all the dysfunction. Plus, like I said, it's so hot. If you guys can see a little, a sheen of mist on me, I do not have an AC in my downstairs area because usually it's too cold in this part of the country, or this part of the world, I should say. So yeah, that's the Merrifields. Yeah. Now I saw some. Okay, let's do some, not really spoilers, but if you guys watch scenes for the upcoming episode where it seems like Garrick is talking about, well, if she doesn't seem like she's coming, because that's the whole thing. They're like, well, is she really coming or is she not coming? Is she dragging her feet, or is there something going on? Is it her mom that's trying to keep her there, or is it just really legitimately the mom's illness or whatever? But now they're revisiting the idea of him going down there and having a baby with her, and basically, being a long distance parent, if she's not willing to come to the States. So you see Danielle now. We haven't seen, I mean, we saw some emotion from her like the first season, because we could, especially around the time that she was getting a divorce from him, but we haven't seen much this season other than, like this, right? Because she's been like, oh yeah, let's get Leah in there, boy. Nice and tall, not his type, everything. Let's just throw her in the mix, right? So now that Garrick is thinking possibly of going down there, Danielle is she's starting to show like, hey, I don't know if I'm happy with this. It was a different situation if I could keep it all within my somewhat control. It's not really control, but if she could kind of at least be there to observe. Like, I think that's what it is for a lot of these women. It seems to be like they're not happy with any of this, but at least it's almost like, well, at least if I'm there to kind of witness it, I don't have to wonder what's going on behind my back. And now that she's thinking that, oh, if he goes to Brazil, then he's going to be there part of the year and he's going to be neglecting me and my kids. Well, it's a little bit late for that, already taking trips to Mexico and stuff. What is going on over here? Oh my goodness. So anyway, I have all these hair technical difficulties today with all this weather. My hair's just doing like this. I took my twist out. So anyway, all right, let's go to oh God, Nick. Oh my God. This is like, I always have to, like take a little shot, right? Before I go over this couple, because, okay. So Danielle is, what did you say? Sama says, I don't watch this show. And yes, I've been subscribed for a while. I often listen to reviews. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, listen, Sama, this is, this show, this one you gotta watch, okay? Like, this one is a little bit nuts. I mean, I do some of the other marriage and fiance shows, but this is like a train wreck about polygamous relationships and, imbalanced sort of things. And, I can't take it. But thank you anyway for tuning in and subscribing and watching me here. So Danielle, we see Danielle at the Airbnb with Nick and April and Jen, right? So, she wakes up and she's with him, but then last night those two, Jen and April, were uncomfortably sleeping on some bed in combination with sleeping on a sofa and back and forth, and he went from this room to go sleep with this woman and that room to go sleep with that woman. And I was just like, oh my God. And then he's trying to get all of them, okay, in one bed together. Like all of them in one bed together. And she's like, Danielle's like, I don't know if this is gonna really work. She's saying like she doesn't know if she would be comfortable, but physically, I mean, just first of all, the space. I mean, this is not, the bed would have to be humongous to accommodate all 1, 2, 3, 4 adults. I mean, so they start talking about, what the deal was last night and who was with who and everything. So eventually it's time to go. Going to the phone said, oh, okay. Yeah. He said, I'm following the sequence of events through listening to you and Auntie's advice. I don't think I deal with the foolishness. Oh my God. Oh, really? So, because I don't know who else is reviewing this show, because I know some YouTubers are like, it's like a bridge too far, but I had no idea. But that's interesting to know. Yeah, it's so now that it's kind of time for Danielle to kind of sort of decide, like, all right, is this like a life for me? Do I really want to deal with this or not? And, and the thing is that, they're about to get off the bed and decide, like, how they're going to have breakfast and stuff like that. So then he goes, well, who's going to make me breakfast? Excuse me? Who's going to make you breakfast? So wait a minute. Hold on. So you mean to tell me, all right, you are, we'll just say less than educated, because I don't know what level of GED or wherever, how high, maybe first year, I don't, you're less educated, okay? And shout out to everybody who has a GED, because let me tell you something, you can still go very far in life. You can do very fine with a GED, all right? Really appreciate it. Oh, thank you so much. So you are less than educated. You are not a supermodel, and I'm just going to be very kind and skip over the other commentary that I could use for that. You are just nothing to look at, all right? You don't work, and you are physically incapable of being in an honest monogamous relationship, and you are a master manipulator, and these women are making food for you. Listen, ladies, sometimes, we do so much for men in relationships and give up so many things for ourselves. Maybe it's time to start learning from these master manipulators, how they are doing it. Because there's a lot of ladies out there that are single and trying to figure out, what to do. Maybe, is that what you got to do to get somebody to manipulate? It is, I mean, because you can look how he looks in the face, okay? And also in the height. And still I've seen guys that are not, they're facially challenged and maybe not so tall and still have a baddie, like a beautiful woman. But you know why? Because maybe he actually has integrity, and maybe it doesn't matter how tall he is. And maybe, the fact that he's a hard worker and that he loves her and treats her well is what she sees in him, even though we don't see the physical part, right? So your height and your lack of a physical attractiveness is not, to most people, because obviously they're attractive, they see something in him, right? That is not a reason for you to have to take this route. So, my point is, people that look like him and that are his height can get a really beautiful woman. Women are less discriminating with physical looks than men are, right? You see beautiful women with ugly men all the time. It's not even an issue. So I said to myself, okay, what's going on here? I'm not getting this. So these women, Jen and April, they have good jobs. They pay bills. They go to work. They have an education. What am I missing here? Now, the older one, I can understand. Listen, I'm not condoning this, but I'm saying that because they met in college and she was a single mom, remember, because that child that he is a stay-at-home dad to, isn't that rich? That is not his biological child. So maybe she has something in her heart where it's like, oh, he was here when nobody else was, and maybe I'll just kind of put up with him or something like that, right? But Jen, she's young, and I still don't know all the background information on her, but I want to know exactly how old she was when she met him. The way he has her sitting on his lap, and it's just giving it's giving something like something quite like something's not really right with this situation. I need to know some ages. I need some more information here. And the way, if you guys notice the way he talks to Danielle and the manipulative way that he speaks to her, and so he has these women doing everything. So they're sleeping with him, they're cooking for him, they're paying his rent. What does that sound like? Not biogenesis, which apparently is his word of the day because his brain is so large, apparently. No. How about concubinage? Okay. How about that for today's word? All right. Let's look that one up. All right. That is more what this is looking like. I mean, even in as terrible as it is, when you hear about these stories of people, women that were concubines, and, some people, there are some chronicles of women who were concubines to, certain, in certain cultures and things like that. And they're older women, they left their stories behind and stuff like that. It sounded really horrific. I mean, basically it's sex slavery, right? But you could say, at least, as terrible as this may sound, at least they had a palace and a kingdom, and they didn't have to lift a finger or something like that. Maybe they had to see this guy once a month, but it's still sex slavery at the end of the day. But in this situation, it is like a concubine sort of thing. I mean, but he provides nothing but a little bit of, what I'm saying, at night, which he goes from bed to bed to bed. I mean, is it like a sex addiction? I have no idea what the deal is with this guy, with these women seeing him. But as I said in yesterday's live, because I was so late catching up on this, yesterday I went live. I was saying that, I've worked in medical, what do you call it? In the medical field. And I've seen women who have been abused, either emotionally, physically, sexually, a lot of women that are victims of human trafficking, and the sort of manipulation that the men, the mind meld that they do on very young, impressionable, vulnerable women, and they fall for it because it's like, oh, he's giving me attention. Look at this. Oh my God, he treats me like a queen. He says I can go shopping all the time. What does that sound like to you? Right? I mean, so in this case, nobody's on a street corner. These are women going to an office every day, making a conscious decision to be with this man. It's just really something. I mean, ladies, my fellow sisters out there, we, as women on the planet, we deal with enough. We have to use our brains when we are talking about, I mean, of course, the person that's doing the manipulation or the manipulating is obviously the most, the culpable person, but we also have to be, willing to use our own critical thinking as well and say, okay, I can see that, recognize game a little bit, this doesn't sound right. Like, if nothing else, like if you can't even use like that, like a critical thinking, what about your gut instinct that says, this just doesn't really seem like, because we see the process. The grooming process is happening right in front of our very eyes with Danielle. She's not happy with this, but she just likes him. She wants to have a little fun. She doesn't want anything too serious. I think she's like, okay, well, I can just kind of deal with this situation, these other two for now, but I kind of want this guy, Nick. This is who I want to be with, right? And she's having fun and she's dating and she's young and she should be. But she should not be implanting herself into the situation that, I don't know, for whatever reason, Jen and April have basically just resolved themselves to, or resigned themselves to, for whatever reason. So you can see her whenever he asks her these questions that she's not comfortable with, and she's like, I mean, I could, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, she said, two or three episodes ago that she likes to be around people, but for short periods of time. She loves her solitude. And they were like, so did you have a good time? And then she's like, yeah, this was really great. But I can't lie. I'll be so happy to get back to my pets. Danielle, please find the exits, the nearest exits. It may be a little bit not too late, but right now, Jen and April are not getting out of this situation. Jen, I'm more concerned with because she's a little bit younger, and I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just, it's so incredibly strange, right? Would you want these people living next door to you? Oh my God, I would sell my house, please. So, all right, so let's move on. So who else do we have? All right, so the last couple is the Merrifield. So we have, or sorry, not the Merrifields, we have Marcus, the Epps family. So, oh my God. So you can't make this up. This man flies this girl in, all right, under the uh, false pretenses that he is at least not married. Okay, they haven't completely revealed their relationship status to one another, but she's at least does not know that the man is married. He flies her out. She gets there. Honey, she must have spent at least an hour painting those pants on, okay? Looking good. She is a beautiful girl. He knocks on the door. He's late, number one, which I don't like, okay, especially for a date. But whatever. We can't bring honor into this situation because it's just a mess. So okay, he gets in, and then she's like, you're late. You could tell she was just she was a little bit perturbed about that. He brings in the groceries, and this is like some kind of Airbnb that he's gotten or something like that, to cook her meal. And his whole plan is, let me woo her. Okay, yeah, I got two wives at home, or one legal wife and another like polygamous type wife, and I'm going to try and convince this girl to join this family. So he starts cooking, and before he can even boil the pasta or whatever, the shrimp or whatever it was that he was making, they start talking about relationship status, and he's trying to avoid it. And she's like, so what's going on with you? Because she says, oh, I'm in something that's kind of complicated. And he's like, oh yeah, we can kind of talk about that. She's like, yeah, but she wants to know, right? And then he goes, well, actually, and then he just drops the polygamy bomb right on her. And you should have saw her face. She was like, what? I gotta go to the bathroom. Like, I know she was thinking to herself, like, okay, I got to collect myself because I'm on national television. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose my freedom and wind up going to jail and throwing this pasta water on his head, this boiling water on his head or something. She was like upset, and for obvious reasons. And it was just like you could just, okay. So I was saying yesterday that we're going to be having a new person come on for the next episode, and they gave us a little glimpse, a little bit of background, just a little bit, not too much, but I'm just assuming that she must already know about the situation, and at least have some kind of, I mean, even if she's pretending on camera, like production must have said, okay, this is the show that he's asked you to be on, and this is what the show is about. But honey, she seemed completely like blindsided. That seemed like a real reaction. I mean, she really seemed like she had no idea. I really believe that she did not know about his wives. And I said to myself, oh my God, I feel bad for this girl. I really do. And she's like, same old Marcus, always up to, always lying, always, you heard her say a comment later on. And, she's sitting there like just flabbergasted, gobsmacked, dumbfounded, like, you flew me all the way out here. I got this weave done, and what? I got my hair done for this, and you're making a fool of me on national television. She was done, but I could tell she was really trying to keep it down because she was not going to go off on camera and show the world, like really how she could go off. That's what I think. I really think she was holding back. Oh my gosh, she probably wanted to just like bop him in his little nose. Oh my God, like it was just so, and he's like, but
but I didn't want to tell you until like at the end of the meal, because that would have made a difference, because even though she's already gotten on the plane and flown cross country or however far she flew, that would make all the difference in the world, right? Just wait till after the pasta. So I said to myself, does he really think he can convince her? But hey, I get some people can't be convinced. I'm not. I don't believe that she is one of them, and or maybe that's just wishful thinking. We see her on previews for the next episode for next week, and I'm thinking to myself, oh please God, please don't let this be where he's talking her into this, and please don't let her like she's just like, because she's like sitting there, she's like, what's wrong with a wholesome one-on-one relationship? And he's like, that's the whole thing. Like, you don't know, if you're being cheated, or no, what did he say? Something about like, you don't know what the person's doing, but at least you know, something to that effect, right? But the master manipulation. And I really understand how he's a politician. And while, all of these men bother me, and including Marcus. But see, like Nick is the worst, I guess, because he's just giving nothing but himself, if you know what I mean, right? But the other ones you could say, okay, well, there is manipulation going on, but maybe you try to find little caveats, right? Though at the end of the day, it's still a shite show, right? But I wonder what the people in his district, what are his constituents saying? I mean, he must have decided in his mind before he goes on this show that he's not going to run again or something. Or maybe he's just crazy enough, because some politicians they're so narcissistic that they feel like, oh, well, this is just gonna, elevate me even better. Because, look at people like Trump, who ran and have like these kind of mega egos, and know that no matter what comes out of their mouth, there's always a segment that will support them. So that's what I'm thinking, like, what's going on with this guy? And he's telling her, yeah, well, I want to add in another wife. I'm hoping you'd be, like a third. Like, what? And this girl is beautiful. Wait till she gets those braces off. She is gorgeous, even with braces on. She can have any man she wants. Why would she want to be with you? Look at him. Come on. Oh my God. I need an Excedrin every time I finish watching this thing. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. But anyway, listen, for you guys that hung in there, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. Hey, share it with one of your friends. I'm sure there's other people reviewing this, but I don't know how many other people are. And every person has a different take on it, and mine is secular, so I don't have any religious background or any dogma in the fight, so to speak, right? So what's this? Oh yeah, you have a wonderful evening too, Sama. Thank you so much. It's always great when I can kind of chat with somebody. That's why lives are fun, you know what I mean? That way I don't feel like I'm just like talking into like a camera lens. But you guys take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Che pisanacho.